In 2017, the YWCA commissioned a report looking at the status of women in Lubbock County. KTTZ teamed up with the YWCA to tell the stories reflected both inside and outside of this report. I'm your host, Ashley Cox, for Beyond the Report, the status of women in Lubbock. In this first episode, we meet Kristen Windham. Kristen found herself living in a nightmare when her marriage to a former police officer turned violent following their wedding. She describes the night when that violence nearly took a deadly turn and finally convinced her to find a way out.
He went to the closet and got his gun out, and that's when he put it up to my head and told my mom, "You better hang up the phone." I just remember thinking, this is it. He's going to either kill us or he's going to hurt us really bad because he was in such a rage.
Stephen Garcia is with Women's Protective Services. In 2018, there were 4,555 cases of domestic violence reported in Lubbock County.
Our shelter in Lubbock is the third largest shelter in the state. Statistically speaking, we know that domestic violence is so underreported, and Lubbock is certainly not the third largest city in the state, which says something about the amount of violence that is taking place.
According to Garcia, that number tends to stick around 4,000 reports annually, and he has a few ideas about why.
Being West Texans, I think there's a general sense that we're different than a lot of parts of the state. We take pride in being friendly, but on the dark side of that is there's a lot of secrecy. That's a private matter, it's a family matter.
The night Kristen's husband pulled a gun on her was not the first time she had called 911. And like many other nights before, the officers who were called to help her but were friends with her husband did not take her seriously. And since his father was also a retired police officer, some of the officers who showed up on her doorstep had even known her husband since he was a child.
Being in law enforcement, it's a very close-knit brotherhood. There would be times where they would show up and tell us, y'all just need to get along. And I'm in tears and I have marks on my face or on my neck, and they would see it, but it was never acknowledged. I felt defeated every time. It was hard. And I felt hopeless. I felt lost. I just lost who I was over time.
Kristen eventually did leave her husband. Their marriage lasted only a year, but the impact of the constant physical and emotional abuse lasts forever. Now, outside of that relationship, she has learned how to talk with and teach her sons who witnessed the abuse about healthy relationships. Also, she strives to share her story with others in similar situations.
I realized I don't have to be just another statistic. There are things that I can do to help women. And I very much want to be part of the community that is there to be supportive.
I think the more we can open up about it and we're willing to accept our faults, but we're willing to fix it, and I think that would go a long ways towards bringing those numbers down.
And for anyone living in an abusive situation, Kristen has this to say.
The most important thing is to know that your life is invaluable and your voice matters. There is a way to get out and you're not alone.
To watch Kristen's full story and learn more, go to beyondthereport.lbk.com. Next week on Beyond the Report, we meet Lupe Cooks, whose second cancer diagnosis left her with a 6-figure medical bill. For Beyond the Report, I'm Ashley Cox.
This season of Beyond the Report brought to you by Texas Tech Physicians Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology.